be, but we'll see what conspires in the draft. Direwolves on the blue side here after playing a game on red, so that potential Chippy's counter pick won't happen. And there's a Kaiser ban. That's not Aurelia, but it did look a little bit like it. We'll see if that happens, though, because Chippy's didn't look too bad on the pick.
Yeah, absolutely, and it depends how much practice you have on it. Aurelia was seen a lot in solo queue, so maybe Paz has got something in store. But I think it was more the way the Direwolves played. The fact that they set up early aggression. You know, they went from something like a Skana to a Graves in the jungle and were able to relieve pressure. And I think that enforced their game plan, as opposed to necessarily, you know, the fact that Chippy's was on a different champion.
Yep, and I like the Graves ban there as well from Pentagram, kind of seeing that from the last game. Gangplank, Karma, and Braum, also the 3 bans completed in Phase 1 for Direwolves.
But in saying that, there are champions that do farm the jungle just as quickly. You can have a look at something like an Olaf to be able to zip around. So I don't necessarily think this shuts everything down.
No, not at all, as Rakan will be the first pick here for the Direwolves. We certainly wanted to see Cupcake on another playmaking support. This does fit the bill, and it's been kind of the pick of the tournament so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that Rusty is sitting backstage saying, "Told you so, Spawn," because I came in and I said, whilst Rakan is good, I don't think he's broken. I don't think he's the best support. However, with Morgana banned, I think that it does lend weight to a first pick. And that is something that the Direwolves will be able to pick up. We already saw Cupcake on Alistar, who's kind of like, you know, bad Rakan to a certain extent. So let's see what he's like on good Alistar.
Zaya picked by Pentagram, as they do have one more to take here. Utori's looked good on the kind of more aggressive carries, and I like this from Once. Played a lot in his final. Gonna go back to Olaf here.
Absolutely. This is a great pickup for Once, because the way Shern got ahead in that last game was just through tempo. And a jungler that keeps tempo incredibly high is going to be Olaf. I mean, we saw him play the Kha'Zix in game number 1 against Kaboom. Did not go well. Went for an Q evolve as opposed to an R evolve. It was just a little bit all over the place. So I'm looking for him to bounce back, because I agree with a lot of people out there that Once is kind of the catalyst for Pentagram. He needs to help out Yutori and Moyashi, as well as going down in that bottom lane. And if he's able to do that, I think that we could see a different game.
Well, there is the Trundle, and there's the Varus. We were waiting for King's Varus to make an appearance.
Absolutely. Best Varus in the OPL. I mean, 100% win rate on that champion. Only picks it up in very niche situations. Also one of Yutori Mayashi's best champions as well. So I'm interested to see what his response to this actually is. Zaya. Who cares?
He'll know the matchup though, yeah. Certainly. So looking for that interesting 2v2. We'll see if the support gets picked here as well for Pentagram. There is going to be the Thresh. Yep, locked in there for Gang.
That's spicy. All of a sudden we got a skill matchup. I mean, Thresh as well as Zaya, both of them are very dynamic champions. They can go forwards, they can go backwards. When you have a look at a Varus, he's more of that machine gun AD carry. He stands, he delivers. If you get on top of him, he either kills you or you kill him. So very different gameplay coming out of these two bottom lanes.
Well, first ban in this phase does go to Pentagram. They'll take Fiora away from Chippies. That's one that we don't see too often, but Chippies is happy to play.
That's a strange one, because he's only played it twice. And in the OPL, for those that watched it, Fiora was kind of the trap card, because she got ahead, but she didn't do enough throughout the games to really split push people to death. So, you know, you slowly bled out, and then things like Caitlyn comps, Azir comps came online, they just went towards Baron. And honestly, they were able to lose a lot of games through that kind of gameplay. I think that Aurelia is a bit different because she has legitimate assassination potential. So I would like to see that as a ban. But obviously, they want to play a tank in top lane for Paz, because that is the style that Fiora shuts down.
Probably expected a Gnar ban as well, which is going to be taken away by Direwolves. Vladimir is the next pick taken away from the solo lanes. Most likely mid, but of course, Chippies, if he wanted to, could play it. It somewhat fits his carry style.
Yeah, it certainly does. I think there's something that Paz will look towards as a Scion. Would not be surprised to see another Scion ban get thrown out here. Just because mid lane pool wide open right now. If you ban away something, actually they do go for it. I was going to say it's not really going to impact all that much, but Control Mage now gone.
Yep, taking Azir away, so kind of shortening the super strong mids, but a lot open left here as first pick will go to Pentagram. Maybe landing up a Swain here.
That's really smart. I mean, when you have a situation where both solo lanes are still open, you don't want to give away a necessary counter pick. So just grab something that's ambiguous, can go into 2 lanes. I don't think right now Direwolves are thinking we'll pick a mid laner that counter Swain as well as a top laner that counter Swain. They're now in a situation where they're just going to take what is strong for them. And I think that this is a very nice draft for the LJL team if they are able to get through the early game, because we saw that Shern had complete tempo last time.
Yeah, gonna have a slightly less tempo in his jungle matchup this time around versus his first, where I feel like that was in his hands. But Chippy's going to stick with comfort. Camille is locked in for the Direwolves.
Yeah, I mean, that is a confidence pick because we saw game one was a little bit shaky. We saw a couple of E's missed off the wall. We saw a couple of E's missed onto the wall, if we're honest. So I like the fact that even though that was a rough game, he then had a great game on the Aurelia. Let's go back to something that was his most played during the regular season, nearly 8 games on it, and was a monster.
Well, again, looks like things round out by Cassiopeia. Nice into the Swain, probably pretty good blind as well. So Triple probably feeling comfy in that pick. And looks like it was Swain mid all along.
Yeah, absolutely. And all Cassio does is, if you want to play around mid lane, which the Direwolves do a lot, they unlock Triple, Cassio wins nearly every 2v2. Unless she gets hit by CC and immediately blown up, the persistent DPS that comes out of this champion is so massive, and it also protects something like a Varus. So right now, if you dive too heavily onto this comp, you're going to get CC'd up by Cassiopeia, by the Rakan, and then Varus is just going to pump out so much machine gun damage. I really think that the LJL need to split up the team of the Direwolves before they go for the heavy on fresh engages, because otherwise it can be turned on a dime.
Yeah, very standard 4-man style here for Direwolves, as On was the last pick for Pentagram. I mean, solid team fight, good peel, good protection for King's Varus, good playmaking there from Cupcake, and Chippy's doing his thing in the side lane on one of his big picks in Camille. For Pentagram, I think they've kind of split the difference a little. It's not the hyper-aggressive comp we saw from Direwolves in the last game, but it's, you know, got a bit more playmaking, a bit more aggression, and this is a team that does need to get stuff done early, so these picks can help with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, similar power on you, Tori Moyashi, and that bottom lane, but a little bit more of tempo jungling going to be coming out of once, and Paz, I feel, has much more impact on something like an Ornn than what he will have on Shen. Shen can save someone, Ornn can absolutely crush a team fight, and that is what Paz is going to have to do for them to win this game.
Especially when you're looking for access to that Varus in the backline. Ornn is pretty good with Braum banned away. So I like the drafts from both these teams. We'll see who reigns supreme here on the Rift. Last game for OCE to play it, in fact, for both these teams, if I recall correctly, because we're in game 5, Spawn.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, if you are Pentagram, you need to win this game.
You do.
This is back against the wall, do or die. You cannot go 0-3 on the day. That is just not good enough for your region to get through. And at the same time, the OPL need to ride this high. One thing that Oceania has done is won the hard games and lost the easy games. So the Direwolves now need to prove they're consistent enough to take this one away.
2-1 certainly gives them a shot. Ending out the day for both these teams, but we're out onto Summoner's Rift for one more time. See what happens here. I'll just watch this. This is wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of scenic now. I like the, you know, sun setting of Summoner's Rift. A little bit of blood moon. It's nice and romantic.
As Pastry takes a casual step backwards, and we're onto the Rift in mid lane, looking at Ramune and Triple facing off early on.
And I wonder when we see a team say, you know, stuff this, we're not going to the fan out anymore. We got ourselves an Olaf, we're going to 5-man, sit in a brush, look to maybe wrap around top lane and take out a top lane or something like that, because teams are being very respectful, level 1. We've seen a couple of cheeky invades into, you know, wrap-around ganks on bottom lane, but I feel like that is the extent of it. As the tournament progresses, Pastry, I just love to see the evolution of these metas and the evolution of, you know, maybe catching out someone that is standing around a wall.
I think so as well, and I think we have to again highlight, once he's on the big tempo pick for the early game, and we said that in the finals, yes, the style was very slow for Pentagram, but once his Olaf pretty much was the guy getting stuff done in the first 10 to 15 minutes, so expecting that from him here. Shern is kind of put back on the jungler with lower tempo in this situation, but will scale nicely, especially if Varus gets going, so definitely curious to see how it shakes out as Paz is pulling the wave.
Yeah, absolutely. Want to get that one frozen up, especially against a Camille. Ornn scales, not scales, Jules very well against Camille at the start of the game. It is going to be Conqueror Camille, actually, up there in the bottom.
That's true. We're wondering when that Keystone would pop its head out. Chippy's deciding in this matchup, most likely, that that's the one he wants.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of true damage against someone that will probably rush Frozen Heart. It's not going to be a bad thing, Pastry, if you don't mind. I think that this is a misread again out of Shern. Actually didn't think that once was going to start on the top side of the map solo, and there are no camps here for him to take, and he's been spotted out.
Gets the vision though, but like you said, was already seen. Looks like once is just going to continue clearing through his side though. Shern going to take the scuttle very quickly, actually smites it down even. Wanted to get to the other side of the jungle.
And this is what I was going to say. Actually, Trundle, as long as he doesn't go for Raptors, is a very quick jungler at the start of the game. Machete plus auto attack, reset, and bite really means that he flies through the jungle. However, on the AoE camps, he does do them slower. So I wonder if this is one of the games that we may see Tiamat come out. We see it a lot in the LPL. just to up the tempo and be able to farm at a similar pace as one, or whether you just continue to go towards Zeke's and try and get an earlier spike for your AD carry.
Well, I know you've been wanting for the team out. We had a Trinity Force already on Trundle.
That was
not sure we'll go that deep. Interested from Ascension showing that one off. There's a great hook from Gang. He's going to move Cupcake back in. He gets ignited. Has to dash away because that would have been his life as Triple gets pulled back as well.
And that's also one summoner spell for one summoner spell. The heal was actually expended out of King there. One thing that we were critical of King was the fact that he held summoner spells for a very long time at the international tournaments last year. This time around, burning it nice and early, making sure that Cupcake doesn't fall down, because that was a huge wave stacking up into his turret.
Once, though, abusing some of that tempo, gets the vision down, gets the plant as well to get some extra vision. As we know, Shern is on the Krogs right now, as Chippy's actually doing decently in this lane, up bit of about a wave on CS so far, as One's going to Zerg down the Drake.
Yeah, actually he's going to try, but this is one of the dragons that does so much damage early game. Ocean Drake is an absolute monster. You can see
Shern just needs a little bit more with his ally, the Ocean Drake. Oceanic Drake, not going to be enough, but Shern also knows that he doesn't want to try and solo it.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, if you can pull over someone else to take a couple of shots, get you nice and low, you can do it very quickly as an Olaf. But I think that was optimistic at best coming out of Once. However, still looking to have an impact early is a good thing.
Too much tempo there for Once, as he will recall and shop up. Predator online, as he does by his boots for completing the first section of his jungle item.
Absolutely, and we'll see where the map is standing right now. All the waves are pretty neutral, except for top lane. Chippies is pushing in, getting chipped down with that low sweep, but everywhere else, you can tell they want to fight because they're leaving waves in the middle of the Summoner's Rift, which means that at any stage, someone like this Thresh can go aggressive.
Oh, great hook there. Diverts away. Cupcake looks for the knock. It doesn't quite land at Utori. Takes a step back. King getting low. The heal burn. They're going to move forward. And first blood goes over. The Thresh will collect it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we said that he held his summoner spells a lot. That flash, I don't think, would save him. So I think it was a right call. Meanwhile, Chippies goes in top.
Yeah, looking for Paz here. Damage going down. On shield back up. Chippy's a little low on mana, but does get a nice bit of damage.
And this is something we must see if Pentagram is going to have some success. Yutori Moyashi, as well as Gyeong, in that bottom lane, need to be able to dominate because they are the catalyst for the teams. And this is just, I mean, it's a little bit sloppy other though. We'll have to call it like you see. Walks into the hook, and without heal, and the fact that he gets CC'd up instantly out of the Xayah means he will fall down. You either flash the hook, or you have to juke better than that.
Good play there from Gang on the Thresh. Again, playmaking support's kind of rising up here as King returns with only 2 daggers versus a BF sword. That is a deficit.
Yeah, that's a thrift shop right there if I've ever seen one. You know, just a little bit of everything. Meanwhile, Triple in the mid lane will farm up. But I think that the bottom lane has been where the Direwolves have risen and fallen in MSI so far. I mean, we already talked about it. Against Supermassive, losing a turret at 8 minutes off a very poor recall and going for something as passive as an Ezreal. Meanwhile, the game we just saw against Kaboom, able to completely turn that around. This time, once again, looking very rough for the Direwolves lineup.
Good extension on the play, though, here by Pentagram, as Once will come down.
Flash is available for the fresh player as well. Flash play would be a kill here.
Yep, looking for someone. Gets the hook again! Cupcake thinks he's not the target, but he absolutely is. He tries to dash away. He'll zip towards King and will escape with his life.
I mean, with his life, but he's so low now, and the wave, once again, is just going to crash into this turret. They are so lucky that there is no priority out of Ramune, because otherwise, this would be a 4-man rotation towards the bottom side of the map with a teleport, and Paz is nearly going to be level 6. You know what? It still might be that.
Churn again, reading this, does go down and try and stop that bleeding. Once is in the river, will get spotted by the Scuttle Crab that Churn did just recently take. But instead, he walked into the jungle, he gets his vision down, and again, looks to abuse the early tempo pressure of the Olaf. And that dive you mentioned is coming right up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, doesn't need a hook again. There goes down. Cupcake just falls. The ignite from Gang's enough.
And this is starting to get ugly, just picking on the duo lane of the Direwolves, something that was done multiple times during the OPL. They stood up there, obviously finishing undefeated. However, Pentagram have beaten undefeated teams before, able to take out Detonation Focus Me in that grand final of the LJL, and looking to once again take down another undefeated team.
Yep, King. Oh, such a big wave here to pressure him. Triple's actually going topside. They've abandoned the bot lane for now. As Triple thinks a little bit better of his roam.
I mean, when you're having a look at the fact that AD Carry's got a couple of daggers versus a BF sword, do you want to go out, down and gank that? One more time, this is just a lack of a juke Don't walk in a straight line versus a Thresh. Gets hooked up, gets dragged back and falls down.
Hey.
Now looking mid lane.
Yeah, again, trying to extend the pressure to another lane. Triple does with a great ultimate. Might even get a 1v2 kill. Gonna try and chase it down, but Ramuni, I think, a little too threatening.
Yeah, absolutely. There must have been no miasma there. That's why he went in. Because if Triple had miasma, that slow, the ability to be able to tie them down may have been enough to turn that.
And I think, again, Triple looking good here in the early stages. Up 10 CS, almost turns that one around. And continuing to farm up, find pressure, and even think about roams there in the top lane. He's certainly doing his job in the lane. Chippies as well. The farmers even, but he's been playing up against this turret for pretty much the whole lane.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to stress that the Direwolves game plan is a pressure game plan. They need to feel like they're starving you out of resources to get any form of success. Meanwhile, we keep harping on this, but the LJL, they're happy for a game to go forever. They are not necessarily scared about late game jockeying for position or team fighting. I really think that this is a stylistic mismatch, and right now the game looks like it's suiting the LJL lineup.
Well, it looks like a swap incoming here for Direwolves, deciding that, you know what, we really don't like their bot lane after the 2 kills. The Cupcake will sneak into the brush, but he doesn't have ulti. Chippies, though, gonna wrap up Paz. Paz with a flash, but chucked in the ultimatum. Cupcake tries to make the play, but the ultimatum wears off on Paz, burns his flash.
Yeah, absolutely. However, Triple is up here. They're still looking to continue.
He ults away, but there's a good route. The Barasov's gonna come out. Chippies is gonna try and take down the kill, and he grabs it under the turret. Now Shern is gonna find once, but Gang is here. Shernfire doing a lot of damage with the ultimate, but he might get the 1v2 kill. Flashes around but once, finds the other flash. Shern, though, gets the kill, burnt down with the red buff and the ulti.
Absolutely, red buff, ulti plus red smite means so much damage continues. Flash was useful once, but he still falls down. And this swap means that they grab themselves 2 kills, even out that gold, and maybe they will get turret as well.
If they get it first, that's a huge win for the Direwolves, who are looking to turn around some of the pitfalls of the early game. Pentagram will be the recipients of that first turret. In fact, Direwolves can't even get the trade as Paz's TP after respawn prevents it.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that they walked down the lane didn't really go towards it. In fact, Chippy spends his TP to grab himself a little bit of CS. That's a bit strange, but still looking to continue that tempo. But now Yatori Moyashi with those 2 assists, with himself a 20 CS advantage, and solo first turret gold will be a monster.
Yeah, and they're going to take down the Drake as well in the swap. Direwolves, a really nice move to try and get things going, but Pentagram read the situation well. They'll react accordingly, take down the turret, and they'll grab the Drake as a bonus.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've already seen the value of Ocean Drake. I mean, I think we saw a team pick up 3 of them on day 1. So we actually take another look at this play. This is Chippy's going very aggressive, looking to chunk out Paz so he can't defend the turret. Flash out a Cupcake, trade summoner spells. When you've got a number advantage, trading summoner spells is always a good thing. And you can see that Paz just can't go anywhere. Does get chunked down. They get a TP out of it as well. And then this out of Shern is just aggressive play. I mean, the ability to stand and deliver, leeching away all those stats as Trundle. You can see the flash there was for naught. That's just Shern knowing how far he can push this champion.
Yeah, again, despite kind of the mismatch in tempo and all of having the advantage, Shernfire, ever the aggressor, knows what to do and does come away with a kill and preserves himself as he's trying to take a late Rift Herald here. Kind of an extension of all that we just saw in the replay, but dual lane here for Pentagram could stop it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good ward is going to see it at least.
I think the one thing that they would be hesitant for is, even though they have a ward there, they have no approaching vision. So they can't go into fog of war because Cupcake has ultimate, King has ultimate, and ultimate out of either of those champions plus Pillar would be in left lockdown CC right now that they would just be able to push forward and pick up a kill. Vision control is so important in the LJL, and you can see they're not willing to take risks if they do not have it.
Yeah, we'll see if they can continue extending some of their lead. They're up almost 1,000 gold. Again, bot lane holding the lion's share of that advantage as they try and hang out in the brush.
It would all have to be right now on Yatori Moyashi. He is so far ahead. Everywhere else on the map would actually probably be behind.
1250 gold ahead. So pretty much the lead there for Yatori Moyashi represented for Pentagram. Again, Direwolves look to collapse here in the top lane. Shernfire back to business here. Takes down the control ward.
And I think this is very smart play out of Shern. If you just let the map reset for a second, you can see mid lane, big advantage for Triple. He's pushing in continuously. As we see, bottom lane right now, Chippies is starting to push into Paz with that Tiamat. Really, the only area they can fall down right now is going to be in that duo lane up top. So I think the fact that Shern is just hovering there, there's no cans for him to take anyway, is very smart.
Good counter gank as well, but a good hook once more. Gets the time, going to try and turn around under Desire. Shernfire doing so much damage on the front line as gun gets low. Shernfire will get it as the arrow from King almost lands the snipe.
Absolutely, and as I said, that's the only place to make a play. They go for it. Now triple.
No, he still lands. Oh, it actually misses. He wanted to throw in a bit of extra damage, but the ult is going to be burnt by Ramune. Jukes out the next Noxious Blast as Camille is roaming up as well, but the Dial's pressure is really mounting here.
And that's what I said. Push up lanes, get pressure. All of a sudden, the LJL are like, we need to make a play somewhere. Let's go top. Shern reads them like a book, is already there in advance. And this is all you get from having pushing lanes. Look at mid lane. They're like, we have to make a play somewhere. Bottom lane getting shoved in, so they go for it. It's a 3v3. Very nice play coming out of Cupcake there. Instant cleanse into his ultimate onto the only source of damage means they secure that kill.
Yep, managed to take down the Thresh in the 3v3. Hippies. Tiamat Sheen looking for that Trinity Force money versus Paz, who of course is shopping pretty much whenever he pleases. Frozen Heart already done. We'll see just how much Chippies can get in the 1v1, especially with Conqueror added to the mix.
And I want to see what he goes towards, because Conqueror is such an interesting mastery choice that potentially, if he goes Ravenous Hydra, he wins this 1v1. But what we've seen historically a lot is that Camille, whilst being a good split pusher, is probably the best split pushing team fighting top laner as well. If you go for something like Asterix, as well as that Titanic Hydra, just so much HP, you can assassinate an AD carry. I think potentially the fact that Yutori Moyashi is Zazaya pushes him towards split pushing, but it's still an interesting choice to make.
Yep, very similar to Reworked Aurelia, actually, who of course Chippy's played in the last game. So it makes sense. He is a big carry play. He can be a side laner, but Direwolves, at the end of the day, the pack always does it. They'll play together to seal these wins. As the gold very even as we crest the 14-minute mark.
And once again, making sure they have that pressure with Chippies pushing in. They walk down the river with that sweeper available. They're clearing out all the vision. They're saying that we are pushing it in 2 spots. If you want to win this game, you're going to have to come fight us eventually. Ramune, again, good damage, but triple.
Yep, getting the trade back, but one's going to try and cut him off with a Predator. Now Shern could potentially be caught. Going to turn it back around again. That ultimate just erases all of Olaf's protection.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, immediately the smite and the ultimate just comes out every single time. And this time they're going to use it to drop Herald and try and get the mid lane turret.
The juicy double root there by Ramune. But it looks like, again, lining it up. Not quite enough as Paz roaming, looking for an on ulti.
This is going to be a 5v5 page.
Big commit, the ult goes out, but they do let the Olaf live, who burns the Ragnarok. A good hook, landing onto Chippies, but he's just going to burn the ult to try and get out alive. The turret falls down, but Triple barely misses the knock-up, as it is Chippies that does get knocked away. He will not fall, he tumbles over the wall as Cupcake wraps everybody up. Yutori does finally get the kill onto Chippies. Direwolves barely get away from that one.
So much burnt, double flashes on both sides, and in the end it is Yutori Moyashi going aggressively over the wall saying, I will carry this team for this game for my team. I think that is one of the situations where Direwolves, they had the right read, but they slightly misexecuted the play. That chunk you talked about really slowed down their ability to pressure that turret, and you saw how much Shern had to tank for Chippies to be able to get out.
And you can see King now knows he has to pull off. Pentagram will convert that little win in mid lane to a bigger one, hopefully for them here in the top lane. Even in turrets right now, Pentagram looking to right that ship and should be able to take this down, although Direwolves are responding for a fight.
Okay, whether they go for it, you can see Shern looking for Ramune.
Lantern is nice from Gang as he will get away. The turret falls over Yutori once again, demolishing turrets here.
And I think this is a big thing. Even though it's 2 pressure lanes to 1 right now when you have a look at it, farm's still relatively even. And Yutori Moyashi, as well as Gung, has been able to just take down multiple structures. This is what I'm talking about here. When they move forward, this actually very nice rip comes in, and they're just going so low from turret damage that they can't continue the fight. Shern is taking up the turret still. That's a full health trundle, down to nothing. On the back end of this team fight, you're going to see Yutori Moyashi make the right play, flashes over, looks for the style points and the kill. If flash wasn't used from Shern, that was a potential double, and he was always safe to do it.
Really nice stuff as the Dials will finally get a Drake on the board for themselves. Mountain versus Ocean as they claim the 2nd in this game. You can see again all that damage being done. Yutori kind of got the right damage done on the end. Ramune doing a lot of work for the consistent DPS of the Swain. More importantly, Dials weren't really looking to fight after that.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I do want to point out is if right now this game continues on the trend that it looks like it will, and that is Pentagram picking up the victory, the real winner of today is Supermassive. They are potentially going to go 3-0 on a group, and then they will look down on everyone else that has gone 1-2. And that is a situation that, for the rest of the group, is pretty dire. that means that big favorites to go through will be Supermassive.
Yep, we've heard it before. If you're not first, you're last is very literal in the play-in stages, at least in this one, as these 8 teams are vying to play in some of those qualifying BO5s. So as we kind of wrap up this group for the first day of its play, certainly seeing a lot develop
Exactly
here.
right. And you're looking, if that happens, you're looking for a team to have to go 3-0 on the second day, because you cannot bank right now on a Supermassive liner going 0-3. Just does not look like it's happening. So really, this game right now for Direwolves, or the next game for Kaboom, are must-wins if they want to stay competitive in this group.
Certainly can get fun as we move towards the end, but a little far away from that. We'll talk about tiebreakers some other time, not the time here in this game. As Shern again getting aggressive on the once. Nice pillar. Use the ulti. They're going to commit, but Lantern, see you later.
Absolutely. You see Cupcake wanted to try and get the interrupt again, but he's just been a little bit slow on that trigger figure. Shern using the kit of Trundle very well, making him walk long ways around terrain, making sure that he's always in the slow. This is one of the reasons Trundle's so popular against the likes of Skarner, against the likes of Olaf. But really, this Thresh pick has kind of been genius, because not only has it set up aggression, it has made sure that they can stifle the aggression of the Direwolves at the same time.
Direwolves, though, 3 right now on the top side, looking to finish off the turret that they almost grabbed in one of the earlier rotations, but once in Ramune, more than enough to defend.
Not only that, Paz sitting in Fog of War. They don't know if there's vision behind them, so straight away you have to think, is an Ornn going to TP? At this stage of the game, so much more effective with that big Ornn horn. And everyone else is just sitting in Fog of War. That's a little thing, but this is something that, you know, macro play, something that, you know, teams like Pentagram actually pride themselves on, being able to play the map and stifle aggression through just not showing.
And again, Direwolves kind of running out of space. It's kind of a weird one. You don't normally see 2 turrets to 1 in this exact fashion. Direwolves have claimed the most important location in mid, but with the 2 side lanes being this long, play is just going to develop very slowly as the team push their lanes back around and try and kind of get things done. And like you mentioned earlier, that's good news for Pentagram. They are happy and often play this way.
Yeah, absolutely, and they've got a really tanky lineup. I mean, ultimately, you're going to have to try and burn through what is going to be a frontline Swain going into ultimate form, and Ornn and Olaf. These are all very tanky champions. And then deal with Yutori Moyashi, who's going to be untargetable and very mobile around these team fights. And I just want to point out, it's so hard to play aggressively into a team that does not want to play that way. You have to force so incredibly hard. We're talking Chippies has to be flash engaging. I mean, the Rakan ultimates need to be on point, and they probably need to be under turrets at this stage of the game, because they're just catching waves. And, you know, this is why a team can make a game devolve into such slow pace, is because at this stage, there is no one tanky enough to get under these turrets. So Direwolves, really, I mean, they can try and set up Baron, and we've seen that that's been unsuccessful due to lack of vision for nearly the entirety of the play-ins, or they just have to wait for Pentagram to come out of their base and fight them.
Baron is so hard when the side lanes are this short as well. I mean, Triple is farming up well. He's trying to get some pressure happening, but now both jungles will rejoin the top half of the map as Direwolves can see the potential vulnerability here in the top lane turret. Cupcake on a ward as he walks up again, trying to get that pressure going. And Chippy's, he has completed his Trinity Force now, so have a bit more leeway in the 1v1. It's Cupcake gonna try and make it happen. Reach arm on it going, not gonna land, but a good ult from King. Trying to make it happen. Yutori though, roots, Churnfire, and the TP's in. I think cancel. There by Chippies was Ramune instead.
Yeah,
tried
absolutely.
to come down.
That was a teleport. That wasn't really a we will fight you teleport. It was just a back off, otherwise I'm going to come in, turn into a giant weird bird thing and do some damage. So right there, that's what I'm talking about. Stifling play, and now Cupcake potentially has to go over the wall. It's a little bit aggressive coming out. And you can see Direwolves want to force. Their team comp is so good at fighting right now, but Pentagram are just not allowing them that luxury.
No, doing a really nice job defending with the space they have on the map. And in fact, they'll get a pretty aggressive look here in the left side. Is getting vision down again. Maybe they can threaten the Baron.
That is such a cool teleport ward. Because how often, as a jungler, are you like, hey, I'm just going to sweep my Raptor pit? Wolf pit. You don't do it very often, you don't see it. So what they're saying right now is if they make that play again, we can teleport in with Paz, who is tanky enough to turret dive, and look to take over this game.
One of the few tops also with a long range enough initiation to make a long teleport worth it. So I like what Pentagram is showing. Dai also defending mid-outer. Again, knowing that it's a very important spot to not give away, especially given they're still behind on the turret race. And King, he's been playing catch-up The difference between Yutori and Moyashi and King is massive. And despite Triple's good lane and continued pressure, the difference is much closer between the two mid laners.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the big deal here is the fact that they have gone away from the 1-3-1. You can see that when they're grouped up, when they have Ramune as well as Yutori Moyashi on the same screen, they just look so much more confident to press forward and try and take down structures. One thing I will say is that if Triple gets, you know, one more item, and if King gets his second item in that Zeal, the Dire Wolves Baron take, especially if they get this second dragon, will become so potent.
Yep.
So Pentagram need to make sure that they don't do what they did in game one, and that's leave the pit unwatered for such an extended period of time that, you know, in the end it was like, okay, we're just going to take it, said Kaboom. And I think that that is an area that they must learn from.
Mountain on the line now to fight for as 2 shards go over to Ramune from the Vision of Empire. Always 1-5 if you can afford it, and a team fight certainly looks like it's brewing. As the blue buff will also get given over. Chippy's short way down, but Paz can get there quickly as well.
Top lane turret very low, big wave going to build up, so right now is a good time for the Dire Wolves to fight. Yep. Looking for it.
Looking for once, doesn't burn the ulti again, just getting some poke pressure down, takes some poke back, and Paz, maybe he's caught. There's the ult, double there as the Varus joins in after the ultimatum, and he gets shredded at Surefire ultim, and they just erase him.
Absolutely, when you have one tank and it's against a Trundle, it doesn't really mean all that much. Shern able to pick up that kill. That is the second Mountain Dragon. That is more gold going towards Triple, going towards King, accelerating those item builds, and top lane turret is about to fall. Bottom lane also might join it. Dire Wolves might have just ripped this game open.
Two Mountains going to do some work here as they do need to take these structures. Chippy's grabs one. Maybe it's them that take the outer ring first, but no, Ramune. He senses the top weak turret. The push has been very slow. He'll get it as we'll look at this once again. I love this poke, but no commitment here from Shern.
Yeah, absolutely, because you would think that that's a good target's ultimate. Chunk out the jungler and then look for the dragon, but they knew Paz was on the flank. They knew eventually they would have to deal with the Ornn in a team fight, so Shern holds onto it, doesn't overcommit. And now at this stage of the game, getting rid of the top laner, getting rid of the sole initiation apart from a godlike hook, is going to be such a smart thing.
And look, King is still behind. I cannot overstate that here in the game, but a Ruined Hurricane is going to help for the Baron and for the team fights that will be brewing here in the mid-game.
Not only that, non-crit AD carries have much smoother power transitions. So really we're waiting for that Infinity Edge to come out, as once again, maybe some aggression here.
Easy exit though for once.
So Yutori Moyashi, because he's gone something like a QS, has put some stats towards defensive items, and now he needs the amplification of the Infinity Edge to really take over the game. Whereas King, he just really needs auto attacks and more attack speed. So in a much better point of power at this stage of the game, even though he's behind in gold.
You can see the vision though. Again, Pentagram have kept up really good ward habits here, especially around the Baron area. Speed Train is there for the Dire Wolves, so they've got some good vision, but Shern face checking. Gonna try and get away. There's Ragnarok Burke. Shern's gonna turn around and ulti. Again, try and get some stats back. Looks to fight a little, but the rest of Pentagram are roaming up.
Yeah, it gets all that armor back. You can see that the burst damage coming out of Ramune, not good enough. Meanwhile, however, they have once again wrestled control of this mid lane, and their mid lane access is giving them this. Very good vision control around the Baron in the side brush, as well as the banana brush around the side. I mean, right now, if they had any leeway, if they could generate a pick somehow, they would be able to start up that Baron so quickly. The problem is they need Paz there for the team fight to happen. And Chippies is just unrelenting in this split push.
He's getting pressured by the Camille very heavily as Chippies continues to build up items. Looking for the second as Sterix, or Titanic, I guess, could be built out of those.
I think it's going to be Sterix. Sterix synergizes so well with Trinity Force. I mean, just the rise to the base AD. It's just a beautiful item when you combine them together. And when you have a look at something like an Ornn who's going to build so heavily into resistances, the Trinity Force on the second Q for Camille is so important due to the true damage. So I just think it's a superior item, has been able to pick it up. And once again, gives him this survivability. This is now a Camille that can dive your backline and get work done.
Well, again, pressure's been looking good. Dire Wolves kind of know that they need to take the top outer, but need to do it safely. It's been side lane triple, just gingerly tending to these waves as best he can, but he's there now, and that might be an opening for Pentagram teamfight. One's going to pop the Righteous Glory. Shern turns around and ults in. Cupcake looking for a big play. Nice pillar. They go back in. They get the double knock off on that chop. They're going to just try and run it all in as Yutori does burn the ulti. Triple. A point back. Flash ultimate for the stun. Looks to take down the Zaya, and he finds it. What a heroic play as Chippy's going to take down Ramune on the backhand with a flash.
And that is a high play. Both of the carries of Pentagram now dead, and Dire Wolves can look towards that Baron. We've already said said it, with a tank, with all of the damage that's going to come out of Triple, going to come out of King. This should be a free Baron. Once needs to steal this.
So gutsy from Triple, but it pays off huge. As Once with a flash, gonna roam in, Chippy finds him, he's gonna take him down, nothing left on the steal, and Direwolves take the Baron.
And this is what we said, with all of the pressure, the game was going to come to head earlier than what Pentagram wanted. Direwolves able to get that pick, and the interesting thing was, this was actually Pentagram starting up the team fight. This is Once just kind of blindly running in, but look at the value of that pillar, knocking up 3 people, allows Cupcake to get in there. Huge ultimate out of Triple, hit 4 people and then solos out the AD carry. Yutori Moyashi so much of the gold lead. Chippy's not mucking up that combo, able to get the flash there as well, extends the range and picks up the Baron.
Pretty sure it was an ult flash too for a little bit of extra sexiness there from Triple. And now the game firmly in the Direwolves' hands. They wanted the outer turret. Baron will certainly help them, but it's what they get on top of that that's going to matter. Now up about 4,000 gold and looking to really snowball the mid-game.
And this is what we said. King with the peel protection. So much damage in that last team fight. Can sit there and just turret. Ramune now. Oh, if he had to creep towards that minion wave a little bit more, would have been pillared off. And you can see the full map pressure from the Direwolves is just continuing. This team, when they play well, plays all around full map press and not going over aggressive in any lane, waiting for their creep waves to catch up. And you can say that's exactly what they're doing today.
Rank 16 for the solos, sorry, level 16, rank 3 ults for the solos as well. As again, look to try and get maximum use out of the Baron buff. Chippies is having a field day in the side lane.
This is a great game to be a Camille. When they only have Engage on their top laner, you know you're going to get so much free time with Torres. And you see Paz is like, damn it, he's going to take my base if I don't go to him. That means no initiation, in they go.
Okay, looks for the candy. Torres going to get charged, takes him down, triple there as Chippies dives in onto the gang. Looking to take down the ball lane. They get deleted as the Direwolves diving through the turrets. They take down the tier 2. They're going to crack through for an inhib.
This potentially could be the game. There is going to be a creep wave coming in the bottom lane. They're going to at least get 2 inhibitors. And with 30 seconds left on the death timer of the strongest member of Pentagram, Direwolves can look to just end.
They're going for it. They've got about 25 seconds. They blaze down the first Nexus turret. They delete the next one, and they'll look to erase the Nexus as well. The Direwolves rally back and finish today 2-1.
And you would have to say pastry time. That is mission successful for the Direwolves. They came out, first game of the day. It was disappointing. Supermassive did get the upper hand, but they went back, they reset their mentality, and 2 very clean tempo games coming out of the Direwolves means that they will now sit, you know, equal top potentially if an upset happens in the last game of the day.
Yep, they can kind of kick their feet back at least for this game and kind of watch what unfolds in our next matchup between Kaboom and Supermassive. But a good way to end things there, 2-1, sitting pretty to at least contest for that first place spot and continue their run through the tournament. Have to be proud of what they've shown over a very up and down day.
Absolutely. I think the fact that they've come out with a very similar competition to composition to game number 1 and just tweaked it, then re-executed, just shows the growth of this team. And that's what they said they're here to do. They're here to show that growth, to put Oceania, Australia and New Zealand on the map for League of Legends. And I think there's a couple of statement games in there. On the flip side of the coin, you do have to take a look at Pentagram right now, because Once isn't having the impact he needs. That was the first game we really saw Yutori Moyashi as well as Gang get off the ground, but they weren't able to translate it. And the solo lanes look like they're falling down time and time again. If they're somehow going to have a miracle run and force like a 4-way tie or something ridiculous in this group, I just don't know.